Well, Hannah has come on scene. Hannah and I go way back, like way back, which seems impossible, but it was like a million years ago. And Hannah is an incredible human being, just to begin with. She is full of so much lived experience, so many like very insightful, like well beyond her years in wisdom, and has some really, really great messages that she has shared on podcasts, on TV, on the We Day stage. Like she's been everywhere. And so we wanted to invite her in to share a little bit about what it means to have a purposeful gap time, maybe a little bit about social media, like just give her the stage and she will share some of her wisdom with us. And so with that, I will step out and hand the torch over to Hannah. You are surrounded by incredible human beings who are also full of their own wisdom in their own ways and will be really engaged in the conversation. So for all of you guys joining from Gapper Connect, this is for you guys, and take it away, Hannah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, Michelle and I really do go way back. And so it kind of makes me feel old. It's weird for me to say, but I think we've known each other since I was like 10, and now I'm 19, which I'm sure is the same age as a lot of you. And I'm really excited to be here with you. I think that it's a really, really awesome decision to do a gap year, or just to try to figure it out or explore that idea. And I think that it can mean so many different things. So I think we'll just be like talking for a bit, and then after, any of you can ask any questions or anything like that. I love just having these conversations. It's literally moments and conversations like these that really re-energize me. So if you haven't heard, so my name is Hannah Alper, and I'm a blogger, author, activist, motivational speaker, and change maker. And I'm passionate about so many issues, including the environment, education, homelessness, mental health, anti-bullying. But the issue that I'm most passionate about perhaps is actually activism itself, which is really inspiring other people to be activists or pursue their passions, whatever that is, in their everyday lives, and inspire people or help give that little push to people to change the world in whatever capacity that means to them. I really, truly believe that every person has the capacity, the power, and the responsibility to change the world for the better. So I want to tell you a story as we get started on this conversation. So an old man was walking along a beach one early morning. There had been a storm the night before, and the old man noticed that the beach was covered in starfish as far as he could see in all directions. The old man noticed a young girl walking towards him along the beach. Occasionally, she would bend over, pick up a starfish, and toss it into the ocean. "What are you doing?" the old man asked the girl. "Throwing the starfish back into the ocean," she said. "The starfish can't get back into the ocean themselves, and when the sun gets high, they will die, unless I throw them back into the ocean." The old man replied, "There must be tens of thousands of starfish on this beach. I'm afraid you won't be making a difference." The girl simply smiled, picked up another starfish, and tossed it into the ocean. I made a difference for that one. So this story really sums up how I see the world. The starfish story is a really good metaphor for the many issues facing the world. And many people, like the old man in the story, think that the problems in the world are so big, so overwhelming, that we can't make a dent. But like the girl in the story, I believe that we can and will change the world, one action and one starfish at a time. Now, when I say change the world, I'm talking about the whole world for sure. But I'm also talking about your community and whatever that means to you. It could be your home, your school, your neighborhood, your city. I'm talking about the place that matters to you. So today, I'm going to let you in on something that's going to change the way that you think about changing the world. It's a formula that even for those among us, myself included, who aren't so great at math, can understand and use. Issue plus gift equals change. So as you can tell, I get super excited talking about this. And over the next little bit, I'm just going to talk and break down this formula with you and show you how you are going to make it your own, whether you're on your gap year journey or exploring it or in high school or really anything. So just like in math, it's easier if we tackle the equation in units. So let's start by talking about the first unit, issue. That's where my story got started, and so did the stories of some incredible people that inspire me. So I was 9 years old when I became a blogger and an activist, although I didn't call myself either at the time. My parents and I were on a road trip home from a digital media conference in Philadelphia, where I had attended a 3-hour blogging workshop. And on the ride home, I decided what my blog was going to be about. My parents said that I couldn't write about my life. It's not a personal diary, my mom said. And my dad, he said that you couldn't write about how much you love Justin Bieber. That was a phase, kind of past it now. Not a believer or a semi-believer anymore. What are you passionate about? They asked. This was a question that I had never really thought about. And to be honest, the 9-year-old me didn't fully understand what the word passionate meant. So we talked it through. What do you love? What do you deeply care about? What do you want to tell the world? So I've always loved animals. I have 2 dogs, Coda and Charlie, and I don't think that I've ever walked by a dog that asked me if I can pet it. I am in London, Ontario right now because I'm staying at an Airbnb until school at Western starts again, and I miss my dog so much. I saw this really cute dog walking. I was with my friend. It was probably really embarrassing, but I literally asked the guy if I could pet it, and it was an awesome experience and literally made my day. So I used to love going to the zoo, and my favorite Disney movies weren't really the ones about princesses, but they were the ones about animals. Anyways, so you get how much I love animals. So at a young age, I realized that animals rely on us to take care of the earth that they call home too, and we aren't doing a good job of taking care of it. So me and my parents started educating ourselves about deforestation, animal habitat loss, and I became really devastated, but I turned that devastation into motivation to do something. And I think I get asked this question a lot, what is it about young people that makes you think that you can change the world? And I always love that young people, I think that's us. We have such an optimism, not really an imagination, but an optimism and sense of fearlessness and persistence. When I was 9 years old, starting a blog about climate change and deforestation, which then grew into a social media and a blog and a book and motivational speaking about all of these really big issues I was passionate about, I never really thought, I'm only 9 years old. I'm just one person. I won't be able to do anything. I just went and did it. And I think that's so incredible about young people. And the thing that re-energizes me so much in my journey of activism are those incredible other young people that I've been able to build as a community. And what's so amazing is that power of community, you have that community right here. These community of people that are looking to pursue their passion. So I just wanted to say that. And I think that that's just such an amazing thing about young people is that we don't think I'm just one person. I'm only this many years old. I only have this much money. I'm not going to be able to do anything. We just do it. And one of my favorite quotes is by Mr. Rogers, and it's called "Look for the Helpers." And the good thing is that there are so many helpers around the world with whatever issue you're passionate about. There's an organization out there that is ready and waiting for you to join them. And I think that that is truly such a beautiful thing. And the Canadian Gap Year Association is really one of those many organizations that is ready to give you the tools and resources to help you pursue your passions and whatever that means to you. So I started this blog with a simple ambition. I was going to learn about the environment, model eco-friendly living habits, and share that through writing and photos with the hope to inspire others to join me. My blog was about living the belief that the little things that we all do add up to make a big difference. If lots of people took small actions, we could keep the environment and our world clean and healthy for everyone. My big motto and my guide for my journey since I was 9 and now at 19 is really that I want people to see what I'm doing and think, if she can do it, I can do it too. If I inspire one person, and I love seeing post by post, comment by comment, people saying, I did your cleaning supplies, I made your eco-friendly cleaning supplies, or I saw that you gave 100 care packages to people experiencing homelessness in Toronto, and I'm now going to carry gloves or a scarf with me to give to someone experiencing homelessness. And so that's why I really believe in the little things that add up to make a big difference, because I genuinely think that it's so much better to do something rather than nothing. So I think that that's just a really interesting thing. Again, I like to talk a lot, so I'm kind of just going really at random, if that's okay. So as you can see, your issue truly can be anything. It can be something that you see every day, like discrimination based on your gender, or something that affects people that you don't even know, like clean water. Clean water was the second issue that I learned about, and I went straight to my principal. I told her about it, and she said the two best things that I think any educator can say to someone, and those two things are yes, and I believe in you. It might be an issue that affects people all over the world, or an issue that is specific to your community. It's also okay to have more than one issue that you care about. The more people I meet, the more issues I discover, and the more motivated I am to change the world. So, to backtrack, number 1, it starts with what matters to you. My love for animals led me to discover that the damage done to our environment affects them too. And there were so many things in my life that led me to discover different issues, like the fact that not everyone had a home or was being bullied. And that really inspired me to take action on it, because really, why not? Number 2, look for more inspiring people that can help you learn more about your issue. Find a role model. Your role model might be someone that you know, like a teacher or a coach. It might be someone who has added their voice to a cause or issue that you're passionate about. Or it might be someone who has paved the path that you want to be on. Remember, there are role models in every one of these categories. 3, make sure to do your research. I really believe that you can't take action on an issue that you don't care about, and you can't care about an issue if you don't know about it. It's important to understand what the problem is and what solutions might already be out there. Again, whatever your issue is, there are people, organizations, and resources out there to align yourself with. 4, look for opportunities to learn from other people, just like this. Sometimes hearing a person's story or seeing their experience will give you a better understanding of an issue. Number 5, ask yourself the same questions that my parents asked me on that road trip. What do you love? What do you deeply care about? And what do you want to change in the world? So, back to that equation. Issue plus gift equals change. So if we want to change the world, then we're going to need to do more than feel frustrated or overwhelmed by the issues that we see. We need to find something that we're good at and use that to help us make a difference. So let's talk about what I mean by a gift anyways. A gift might be something that you're good at or that you like doing. It might be a skill or a hobby or a resource. It might be something that you do for fun in your spare time. Or it might be time that you have to give. There are so many different gifts, and truly everyone has one. It can be art, music, kindness, compassion. I think that people truly underestimate that power of kindness and compassion. It's such a misconception, I think, that you need money to change the world. And especially in your gap year exploration, I think that it's probably such a constant question of money. But I think to make a difference, it truly isn't about that. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. I coined this term years ago called kind raising. And it's about, instead of raising money, raising kindness and compassion. And people, you never know truly the impact that you can have on someone simply by asking to sit with them at lunch or giving them a compliment or helping them out on something. And I know that the whole asking someone to sit with them at lunch probably seems a little premature at our age, but it's just an example of one of the many things that anyone can really do to make a difference. And one of the gifts that I truly believe that we have the power of, and I think that every person in this Zoom and whatever has the power of, is social media. It is such an incredible concept that just in our back pockets, that you have the power to change the world for the better. And I think that is so, so cool. I really believe that social media is one of the best and most powerful tools that anyone can use to make a difference. With the touch of a button, you can reach your message to people that live in a different city, in a different province, in a different state, and even a different country. I mean, truly, how cool is that? Another powerful part of social media is being able to find your community. And I think that is truly so incredible. One of my biggest role models that I've been able to sort of introduce in my community, and I continue to be re-energized by, are the students the core founders of March for Our Lives. So on February 14th in 2018, a student walked into Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, and shot and killed 17 people. And out of that tragedy was born an incredible movement called March for Our Lives. And unlike anything else, unlike any other mass shooting that had happened, they knew that this one was different. At Columbine was way, way back then when social media didn't even exist. There wasn't a platform for people to voice their concerns, their anger, their frustration, their sadness. And Sandy Hook happened, but the victims were young kids. This was truly a moment like no other So they use social media to mobilize millions of people. Just a month later, they mobilized millions of people at more than 800 sister marches around the world, and then this huge march in Washington, D.C., where they called for school safety laws and policies. And it was just such a truly incredible thing for me and millions of other people, particularly young people, to watch, seeing that we as young people could truly impact change. Since then, they have enacted hundreds of gun control and school safety laws across the country and around the world. This is just one of the many examples that truly shows the power of young people. I know that in the midst of COVID and everything that has happened in the past 2 years, making a difference and reaching your passions, it can seem pretty far-fetched, I understand. And sometimes you can feel so overwhelmed mentally, especially through COVID and isolation and everything that had happened that was supposed to be normal, but was turned completely upside down, that this all can seem impossible. I had an online graduation. I am currently online in my first year of university. The fact is that it sucks. But I really believe that as an activist, or as truly anyone that wants to reach their goal, I feel like you need to be a little bit of an optimist. And that was kind of my mindset when I went into COVID. And I wrote a blog post that was called Social Connecting Over Physical Distancing. We can get through this together. And truly, COVID can give us that opportunity to just simply adapt. I was talking about this in a panel last night, that COVID gave me an opportunity to go from thinking really globally to locally, because it gave me a chance to see about the many issues that my own community were facing because of COVID. And in your gap year, I think that it's such a beautiful thing to look at volunteering. I think that volunteering is a gift that anyone can do and anyone can use. And so I took the time throughout COVID and this time of almost stillness. It was such a weird 2 years and it feels like such a blur, but I tried to volunteer at the food bank as much as I could. And over Thanksgiving, me and my parents and my family, we set up literally a basket outside of our house and held a food drive. And we dropped little notes at everybody's house saying that now more than ever, people are having incredible financial hardships and could need help now more than ever. And we can help. So we donated tons of, like literally tons of non-perishable food items to the food bank. We made cookies and sandwiches to give to our local food bank. And truly, that is just to show that there are so many things that people can do. And I feel like that COVID was also such an explosion of activism, and particularly of the climate justice movement. And it was really scary sometimes seeing the amount of awful and depressing statistics that were going around about the world. But I think it also prompted so many more young people than ever before to make a difference. And this feeling of COVID also inspired people to find their community online. And I think that that connects to this idea that I've believed in for so long, which is that you're never alone and that we can make such a far bigger impact together than we ever can alone. And I think that's really, really important. And that's what I mean when I say find your people, find that organization that aligns with your issues, with your passions. For me, when I met Michelle through We, which was formerly called Free the Children. And I remember walking into this event called We Day, which was this event where tens of thousands of youth had come together and all of them had earned their way there through making a difference. I remember walking in and hearing all these cheers, and they were cheers of change almost. It was just this incredible, indescribable energy. And I knew that I had found my community. And that was even before I had logged on to social media. My 13th birthday was incredible because I logged on to Twitter and Instagram for the first time. And it was me learning about all of these incredible activists, not through my parents showing them to me, but me being able to actually talk with them one-on-one. And it's truly such an incredible part of social media is that you can now, your role model, that isn't even such a far-fetched idea. You can actually connect with those people one-on-one. And I think that is truly just so powerful. So issue plus gift equals change. You know, you find your issue, that's that cause that you're passionate about. And then you find your gift, that thing that you're passionate about, that thing that you're good at, anything that you can use to make a difference. And it works. You know how there are some things that you learn in math that you can't imagine that you will ever use in real life? This formula is one that you will use again and again and again. You'll never be too young, too old, too cool. It's not that you're not able, not wealthy, not knowledgeable, or not popular. There are never, ever reasons to hold yourself back from making a difference. So now that you know your formula, you can put it to use and start taking action. Find your issue, match it with your gift, and boom, change. Remember, no action is too big or too small. Everything that we do counts. It's a team effort. Community is so important. None of us can throw all of those starfish back into the ocean alone. We have to do it together. I've told the story since I was about 11 years old, and even still, it doesn't feel childish, and it gets better every single time. We are living in an amazing time, and I truly believe that it is our time. We're no longer living in a world where young people are seen and not heard. There are examples every single day of young people like us taking action, speaking up, being heard, and creating change. And with your opportunity to do a gap year, truly take that opportunity to do what you love, because after that, I think that life can be sometimes so bogged down that making a difference or helping or pursuing your passion can sometimes seem so far out of reach. But at the same time, take this opportunity for a gap year, or even the possibility to explore what you love, what you want to do. I know in life, all I want to do is help people, whether that's through activism or journalism or anything, or through weekly volunteering. I truly think that taking that time to rest, to explore, to find your passion is one of the greatest things that I think anyone can do. And I think we're really lucky to have this opportunity to find your passion. So I want to leave you today with this quote that inspires me on my path. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. So that's kind of it. I just wanted to talk where as you can see, I really, really like to talk, and I can talk for hours more, but I want to see if any of you have any questions. Completely all good. If not, I can definitely share more experiences or lessons that I've learned in my journey or anything like that. But if any of you have questions, I don't really know if there is a chat. Never mind. Just kidding. But yeah, if you have questions, let me know.
Yeah, I wanted to just first say thank you, Hannah, for sharing that. I think your optimism is so much what this gang needed right now, because it's been a tough year, and I think sometimes we forget that spark, we forget that motivation, we forget that silver lining, we forget that our attitude impacts how we show up and how we tap into our issue plus gift to make the change. And I think that you have reminded me of that, and I needed to hear that. So I'm sure the other folks here, there's lots of love for you in the chat over there. For reminding us that we do have a lot of power. So I think that's great. But I will leave it up for other people if they have questions, or just want to chat with you, because I'm the old cranky one. You guys do your young cool thing.
It's interesting because I was just listening to all the cool stuff that you were talking about, and going through some of the movements that you've been a part of. And what stood out to me is the question I had: how do you deal with and overcome challenges where you just fall flat on your face? Because I think a lot of the time when amazing people like you are telling their stories, that part sort of just gets lost in the narrative. And I would really love to know, because I think it's great to be able to see role models, and even better to be able to empathize with them when you're not looking at necessarily the entire highlight reel all the time.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's something that's really important to me. And I think that especially social media has kind of put this facade around us where we constantly can feel insecure or anything about all of the highlights that are on people's lives, and we can just believe that it's highlights and that it's their entire life. But those are truly just highlights, and there are so many things that are happening behind that. And yeah, I can say that I'm an optimist and believe that with every issue there is a solution, and I do believe that. But of course, it is so hard as an activist, or just as anyone that's pursuing their passion, to constantly stay motivated, especially when there are obviously always going to be naysayers. And that's something that I wanted to definitely talk about. I just actually completely slipped my mind in my notes and stuff, that there are always going to be people that are going to try and knock you down. When I was in grade 8, which was obviously a while ago, I had already been an activist for 4 years, and for that, in that year, I don't know why, but people, I guess, decided that that was the year that activism wasn't cool or something. And I was bullied so much by my peers. I was told everything from that I was gay, which is just stupid to call me, but it was that I was gay, to go kill myself, everything in grade 8. It was insane. But it definitely took a toll on my mental health. And I know that so many other activists experience that. And on top of that, social media can also, while it can be an incredible place, and I think everyone has a choice with social media, you have a choice to build people up, or you can use it to bring people down. I choose to use it to build people up, but not everyone makes that choice or makes the right choice. And I remember that I had written this blog post and it got posted on Yahoo and then like a bunch of different AP sources and whatever. And there were about 400 comments on the Yahoo site. And I had never gotten like a hate comment before. And I remember there were out of the 300, there was like 299 of them that was like negative. It was crazy. And it was things like that I was being brainwashed by my parents. And it was that people were constantly saying, you can't even vote. You're only 14. You can't do anything. But I think that with a lot of those situations, I think it's almost used the analogy of there are 100 people in a room and there are 99 people saying really good things. And we as people always tend to focus and analyze and overthink that one person that's saying the negative thing. And so I think with all of those situations, whether it's people being rude to me or whether it's these issues that are so big that it can often feel helpless or that there is no hope in sight, that's when I look to the incredible people that re-energize and remotivate me. That's when I look to organizations like March for Our Lives and young people that are truly actually creating change. And I think it's so inspiring. I also remember that I'm not alone. I think that if you can think of any person that has ever been successful, it doesn't matter if they're an activist, an artist, an athlete, anything, if you think of anyone that's done it alone, you can't. You truly can't. And so I think it's such a beautiful thing that I'm very lucky to have had so many supporters throughout my life. And my parents have been so supportive and championing my journey and letting me do school completely online in grade 5. I've had a lot of really unique experiences, but people really are never alone in their success. And I think I even did this, I was at this facility years ago called Take Action Camp, and it was a part of Me to We and Free the Children. And we did this activity that our facilitator gathers for, and they took us out to this field and they blindfolded us, and we were told that we couldn't go over there was this like rope, and we were roped off in the squared space, and we couldn't go over the rope, we couldn't go under the rope, and we were all like walking around the rope, and we had to get out, and that was the goal. And we were all so confused, and over time I kept hearing people getting out and they were all cheering, and I was so confused and I didn't understand. And so after a while, I took a deep breath and I asked for help. And then slowly, one by one, everyone else got out. And then our facilitator told us that the point of the activity was to ask for help. So smart. But it was really the goal was that to show people that you can't do everything or anything alone. You always have to ask for help, and asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. I really believe that it's actually a sign of strength. And that I think it's also such a misconception that I'm going on such a tangent, but I think it's such a misconception that in order to make a difference or be a leader, pursue your passion, you have to be this person that stands in front of a room and public speaks or just anything like that. And I'm definitely somewhat hypocritical for saying this because that's what I'm doing right now, but there are so many different change makers or people in the world that are successful that are making a difference in so many ways. In order to put on an event like this, you don't just need an MC, you don't just need someone to tell you where to go. You need logistics, you need script writers, you need social media people, marketing people, everything. And so I think that's just to show that, there is always a place for you in whatever you're passionate about. Sorry, that was very long. If anyone else has any questions, so yeah. I love that what Tina said. People fear things they don't understand and can lash out. You need to be brave and have thick skin to be an agent of change. It's worth forging ahead and staying true to your values. That is so true. Yeah, you take a deep breath and then you keep going. I love that. I remember when I was in grade 8 and I was getting bullied, I was actually writing my book at the time. And my book is when I interviewed 19 of my role models. including people like Mark and Craig Kielberger and Lily Singh and Lily Collins and just some really incredible people. And I did a chapter, and Melody Upside, but I did a chapter after every interview. And one of the chapters was It's Not Always Rainbows and Sunshine, to show people that activism and those people that you constantly see on social media or in real life, that their lives seem perfect. It's definitely not. And so just a little tidbit. Oh, I just liked it. The message. Cool.
I want to touch on something you said about like young people, and how like the important role that they play. And I'm a huge nerd, and I love reading studies and finding other people that are in the youth empowerment space, because really, like, behind all of the gap year, I don't want to say facade, but the gap year is the medium I choose to support young people in their growth and development and becoming who they are. And so I'm always looking for people that are out there that can mentor me in that space, that know more in this space than I do. And one of my favorite scholars, her name is Elona Dougherty. And she actually studies youth and why they are so incredible. And she actually found, like, she does brain science, and she actually found that youth are actually wired for innovation. So I'm putting a link there to an article that she wrote it's called Wired for Innovation, and it's about how your actual brain chemistry and like the way that your brain is wired as a young person actually leads you to be more innovative than older people. And that's why you have such power at this time in your life. This is why we see so many amazing leaders taking shape. We see so much new ideas coming out. That's why the climate movement is being led by younger people. Your brains are wired differently. If you want the whole article, I have a PDF copy, so send me an email, I can send it to you. But she's phenomenal. And like, there's actual science about why you need to harness this part of your life and why you need to let that creativity flow and follow those curiosities and start that business or make that change and really tap into what your issue is and what your gift is, because you have them and you can make a difference right now. You don't need to wait until you have a degree. You don't need to wait until somebody else gives you permission to do it. You are wired for great things right now. And I just want to underscore everything that Hannah said. Like, there's research behind this, and it's really cool. And there are also systems to support you. So when you were talking, actually, I just recorded a podcast today with Lisa Chen, who actually started an organization called Let's Talk Butts, like BUTTS. And this is the website. She's obviously going to probably be rebranding it, Ocean Impact. But she started out participating in the Canadian Conservation Corps. So this is a program funded by the federal government about environmentalism, conservation, and it's broken into 3 phases. The first phase is some sort of expedition. So it could be snowshoeing, it could be kayaking. You also get your first aid certifications. You get all of these outdoor leadership certifications and lots of leadership training. The second phase is an internship. And then the third phase is a project that you have to get off the ground. And so Lisa actually started the Let's Talk Butts project. And it was all about cigarette butts. On like a per number basis, they are the largest form of waste in the entire world. And not only do they leach chemicals into the ground around us, they're also made of plastic, which I didn't know, and can be recycled. And the plastic breaks down into like microplastics that end up in our food chain. And so she started this project as part of her Canadian Conservation Corps placement. And not only did she collect cigarette butts, like it wasn't like she just like, my project is to go and pick up 7 million cigarette butts. She also mapped her entire community about hotspots, and she went to her municipality and got them to put in additional supports to deter people from throwing their butts and giving them a place to actually put the butts instead of on the ground. And it's grown to an international movement. And like you said, Hannah, like your examples, like It was something she was passionate about, something that she was interested in, because she was a scientist too. She liked data. And she was able to create this amazing thing that is like those starfish. Every butt that makes it into a container is making a difference. And so I just wanted to underscore again and like share another example that I just talked to somebody today about. And just to know that there are support systems out there that will help you get to that spot. So if you're struggling to do it on your own, reach out to me. Let me know. I can help you, connect you with the supports, whether it's a business incubator or environmentalism program or whatever you think you might want to be connected with. There are supports out there for you. There are those communities that Hannah was talking about. That was a lot I said. Hannah, apparently I like to talk too.
I really do want to reaffirm that, Michelle. You have a talent for scouring the internet for just the most inspiring people around our age that I've been able to meet. And I'm sure you've got a vast contact list of awesome people in there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's so unique that there's this opportunity for it really literally provided tools, resources, mentorship to make this opportunity your own and to do anything with it. I have a friend that in the US that did a gap year, and she started leading menstrual poverty surrounded organization. And it's international, it's global. And she started it a couple years before her gap year, but she really took the time to expand it in that time. And it is so incredible. And now she has her own, as her name's Nadia Okamoto, she has her own period care brand now that is actually global and has 1 million followers on Instagram, and also gives proceeds to nonprofits. And it's so incredible. And that's just to show what the incredible things you can do with just a little bit of time and a little bit of support and a little bit of optimism.
Hannah, can you connect her with me? I'd love to interview her for the podcast.
Oh my gosh, for sure. She is so awesome. For sure I will.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome.
Do you guys have any other questions for Hannah?
Yeah, no worries if not. Oh. Someone said, "Is this limited to Canada?" I think she was talking about the.
I'm talking about the Canadian Conservation Corps. If so, yes, you have to be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident for that particular program. But something might exist in your home country. I'm just not very knowledgeable beyond Canada. I have to limit my scope somewhere, so I have to put a line in the sand there. But yeah, you can join the Gapper Connect community and connect with all these amazing people, and maybe some of them have ideas because they're all equally well connected in their own right too.
Yeah, for sure. Also, I'm just putting in my socials. If anyone has any other questions that come up or just want to talk or have a conversation about how you can pursue your passions or anything, you can totally reach out and I will always be there to talk. I love connecting with young people in any way. And it's really what re-energizes me and reminds me that this is why I do what I do.
And there's more to life than being stuck in an Airbnb doing online school.
There is more to life than that, I promise. Yeah, and you can be stuck in Airbnb and also do a speech with the Canadian Gap Year Association. So there's so many things you can do.
Amazing. Well, Hannah, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And yeah, it was like a flashback, flash forward all at the same time. I think that your message just rings so true, and the simplicity of the formula is something that I think everybody should go home and journal on. Like literally take a piece of paper, make a line down the middle, put all of your issues down on one side, put all of your gifts down on the other side. And like, this is literally when I do, because Hannah and I both worked at Free the Children and Me to We. When we would run facilitation, we would literally make those lists. And then how do you connect them together? Like, oh, I'm passionate about homelessness, and I can play the guitar. Well, how do you connect those two? How do you take that issue of homelessness and guitar? What are you going to do? Are you going to run an open mic that raises funds? Yes. Are you going to write a song about the lived experience of someone experiencing homelessness? What are you going to do with those two? How are you going to connect them? That is going to equal that change.
Right. you're good at art, even if you're passionate about the environment, you can do an art gallery that's showcases either in person or on social media. Again, another amazing thing about social media to really get that message across. I think that now more than ever, we can really strike a chord in people and inspire them to educate themselves and then educate others. And it really becomes that ripple effect.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. So go home, do your homework in the shower. I don't know, while you're shampooing, do all your issues, all your conditioning, do all of your gifts.
And then getting out of the shower, and then you make a difference, and then
you're gonna change the world. Yeah,
exactly.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was such an awesome experience. And if there's anything I can do, let me know. And I'm super excited to see where all of your journeys go. And yeah, thanks so much.
Amazing. All right. Well, take off, guys. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thanks for spending it with me. And we'll chat sometime soon. I'm always available. So just come find me sometime.